All right, we are live October 28th. Halloween is just around the corner. This is Barstool Units. I'm Coach Doug's in the Barstool office. Frank the Tank with me as always, coming from his living room today. Frank, where are you? What's going on?
Well, I'm getting ready to go out to a Devils autograph event. They're going to have several players out on the concourse signing today. Hopefully it goes better than it did last year. We're trying to see if the Devils are actually improving. So far this year, they're off to a 4-3 start. They've had some bad games. They've had some good games. So we'll see how it goes moving forward.
Yeah. So you're going to, let me clean this lens real quick. There we go. So you're going to a Devils event. This is, I believe we attempted to go to this last year.
Yeah, and it was a disaster.
Yeah, this is where the parking attendants started having a fight with each other over the radio. So we didn't even get into the event. But
Right.
we were later told it wouldn't have mattered because the players came out late. They left early. Most people only got one autograph, if they got an autograph at all.
Yeah.
And so this is attempt number 2.
Now I've gone to these events in the past and had no issues.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I didn't go in the office today. I figure I get out there, get to the parking deck probably around 5:30 or so.
Yeah, and so what they bring out the players and you bring your own stuff. Do they sell stuff to autograph?
You bring your own stuff.
Gotcha. And so if
I have a hat with a few autographs. So
if you only have a chance to get one auto, whose line are you getting in?
I don't know yet. I might go Jack Hughes. Might go Nico Hischier.
Now you already have a Hughes auto, right?
Yeah. Which means I might go Andre Palat. I got a Jesper Bratt hockey stick, so I also have that. So
it's pretty cool. One player that might get slept on might be a good opportunity. Nico Dawes. Will he be there?
No, he won't.
Why not?
Because he's in Utica.
Still?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know what? A fan of the team would care. Not a big deal for me. That's surprising.
The Devils acquired a backup goalie, he's mainly been backup. Mackenzie Blackwood started most games so far, and Nico Dawes is right now starting in Utica. Now, 30 years ago, the same thing happened.
Yeah,
30 years ago, the same thing happened. What was the beeps?
What?
I heard 2 beeps. I guess it
might be your fire alarm in your apartment.
So anyway, 30 years ago, the Devils did the same thing. There was a rookie goalie who came up, played a few games, got a few wins, and the next year, Herb Brooks didn't want him around. Yes, that Herb Brooks. Herb Brooks was the coach of the Devils, didn't want the rookie even on the bench, and he spent an entire season in Utica. Herb Brooks got fired. They brought in Jacques Lemaire, and Jacques Lemaire made this guy the starting goalie. He won Rookie of the Year and ended up being the Devils goalie for the next 20 years, named Martin Brodeur.
So, yeah. Sounds like what you're saying is Nico Dawes might be the next Brodeur.
I mean, I like Nico Dawes. I think he's better than Mackenzie Blackwood. But they got Blackwood on the team. They're going to see what they have with Blackwood. They brought in Vanecek from the Capitals. And he got the win Tuesday when they beat the Red Wings. And Nico Dawes is in Utica. I mean, he's a phone call away. He's in the organization. They're not giving up on him. But I think that they think that he's so. I think they're doing that he's so young that they're just gonna put him in Utica, see what he does in Utica, and maybe next year he'll be back and maybe the starter. Because hopefully, knock on wood, Luke Hughes will be ready next year.
Yeah, the Devils could be good in a few years.
Yeah, think they need they got the pieces. They got the pieces there. They got the little pieces here, little pieces there. They're just not cohesive enough.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the coaches do what they can for that.
Their system isn't great. Their power play still sucks. But there is signs of improvement. The Devils made two trades this offseason. Well, they made more than the 2 trades, but 2 trades I've seen that have worked out so far is Pavel Zacha, a guy who's got all the talent in the world, just is never lived up to it. He was a high draft pick, and they traded him to Boston for Eric Haula.
Eric who?
I try my best to pronounce this guy's name. It's spelled Haula. Eric Haula?
I don't. I imagine is it Howla?
That could be it.
It's one of those names that could be very straightforward. It could be Howla. It could be Halla.
Yeah.
All right.
So he's played well so far, and they signed Andre Palat, who's been terrific, as expected. Tampa's off to a slow start right now, and they kind of miss him.
Yeah.
And
Devils doing okay.
Yeah, they're 4-3. They're 4-3.
Doing okay.
I mean, I don't expect the playoffs. I don't really expect the playoffs this year. I just want to go to the Prudential Center this winter. Those nights where when I get out of the office and I get to the car and I'm pulling into the Prudential Center at 6:30 at night. It's 20 degrees. I want to be walking in the building saying, they have a shot at the playoffs. I want to walk into the Prudential Center March 1st and think, it's a long shot, but they have a shot. I don't want to have another winter where I'm walking into the building in January, middle of January. They're one of the 5 worst teams in the NHL, and the playoffs are gone. We're the equivalent of a 3-10 NFL team with 3 weeks to go.
Yeah,
or 4 weeks ago. I don't want, Devils have been the bottom 5 in the NHL, like 7 out of the last 9 years.
So you should be used to it now.
Yeah, I'm not asking for the playoffs. I'm not asking for the moon. I just want to get. I want to get close to 500, where the playoffs are, where I can look and say, it's getting closer. I mean, 2018 they made the playoffs. It was a fluke year. They had Taylor Hall was the MVP that year, had a career season, and he's sucked ever since. They actually traded him eventually. They had Brian Boyle on the team. He got leukemia. Then he came back just after a month after getting chemo and became like an inspirational leader on the team. And it was that was Nico Hischier's rookie season. He had a good year. Will Butcher had a good year, and then Will Butcher sucked the next 3 years. They ended up trading him.
Sounds like there's a pattern here. Sounds like players suck, and then the Devils trade them.
Well, Taylor Hall was a big trade. He was number 1 pick by the Oilers. The Devils made a blockbuster trade to get him. His first year at the Devils was so-so. His second year at the Devils, he was he set the team record for points in the season. He had an incredible 2-month stretch down the end of the season, and he was the NHL MVP. The next season, he suffered a knee injury, and the Devils went back to just being brutal. And then he was having a bad year, and he was a pending free agent, and they ended up trading him.
Well, so your Devils are doing okay. What about the Brooklyn Nets?
Good God Almighty!
Are you as upset as Steve Nash is?
No, but I think Steve Nash just went back into the locker room and was doing TikToks the rest of the night. So I think he was fine.
You're not even going to give him credit. You're not, Frank. I have to push.
No,
you.
I got to give him credit yesterday.
I have to push you on this, Frank. You've said he doesn't care about anything. He just wants to do TikTok dances. He actually showed some emotion. He was getting
he did.
Face. He had to be held back. He threw something when he was going into the locker room. He's clearly frustrated.
I think Ben Simmons is bringing it out of him. Ben Simmons, they have the count. Remember the count from Sesame Street?
No, Frank, I don't remember him. What did he do?
He counts. So when he sees Ben Simmons, he goes 0. 0 fucks Ben Simmons gives. Literally, Kyrie Irving passed him the ball. He was under the basket. He could have dunked it. Instead, he just looked around like, oh God, here. And he gave the ball away. And Kyrie's going, shoot it. You can actually hear him yelling it. And that's how the whole game fell apart. The Bucks got away with shoving Nets players around. That's what pissed off Steve Nash. And it was another disaster. They're 1-3. They almost blew the game that they won. The only team who might actually be a bigger nightmare than the Brooklyn Nets right now is the Lakers. Oh my God, the Lakers!
Hey,
it's not that LeBron looks old and he's still. You can still he's got the skill around him, but Russell Westbrook, just you could just tell that LeBron James has a burning hatred for Russell Westbrook. Must be the name Russell for people right now, but the Lakers are 0-4, and they got blown out. They got blown out yesterday by the Nuggets, and they're just a mess. The Lakers are a mess. The Nets are a mess. 1-3. The NBA is kind of upside down right now in some places. The 76ers a favorite. They're 1-4.
We've talked about this before, your hatred for the city of Los Angeles and all of its teams. If the Lakers were to be bad, but the Nets also were bad, is that like a fair trade-off?
No. But you know what? I don't have any more fucks to give.
You're telling me
last year.
What? You come again, Frank?
I have no more fucks to give about the Brooklyn Nets.
All right. Clip that. Clip that. You're sure,
Frank? I have watched.
You're sure?
I did. The first game I watched, I was doing a raw dogging episode. And I listened on the radio on the way back from it. By the time I got back to my apartment, they were outscored 32-13 in the first quarter. The game was over. So I watched.
They ended the game.
They should have. They ended up losing the game by 30 points. The second game they actually won, and they had a 14-point lead with 3 minutes left, and they ended up winning by. The lead got cut down to 2. They made a couple of free throws, and that was basically the end of the game because the Raptors just went down the floor and couldn't get a shot off before time expired. So that's how they won that game. But they almost blew it. Third game, I was at the Prudential Center. They were getting blown out by the Grizzlies. I was watching the Devils. Yesterday, they had a good first half, played good defense, and then just crumbled in the second half because Ben Simmons did not take a single shot. Nick Claxton can't hit a free throw. Ben Simmons can't hit a free throw. The Nets right now are basically shooting free throws just barely over 50%. And it's a mess. You got a bunch of players who just don't know any idea of cohesion, cohesion. No team effort. They when they get offense, they just walk the ball up the court like they're smelling daisies. I mean, and there's just no spark, nothing. And then Ben Simmons is literally afraid of the basketball.
And so, just to confirm, just to make sure we're on the same page here, you do not care about the Brooklyn Nets.
I just can't bring myself.
They could lose. They could lose all of the games this season, and we won't hear one word about it.
I've watched the first 4 games, and I just don't give a fuck.
Okay, all right. I just want to be clear because we will.
I don't know.
This.
I don't know. I don't know I don't know if I can get into it. I don't know what the situation is. What will get me interested again?
Like if they went on a 15-game win streak,
that might do it.
All right. So temporarily, for now, as of 4 games into the season, you don't care about the Brooklyn Nets.
I just can't get it. I just right now, it's just it's. I think last year just ruined me. It basically ruined me to the point where, and just getting like the off season, where it was like both Kyrie and Durant wanted trades, and I just right now do not give a flying fuck about the Brooklyn Nets, and consequently, I also don't give a flying fuck about the NBA right now.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Well, that's Frank's opinion right now of the Brooklyn Nets. I will say, watch your language. This is a family program, but other than that, that's fair. All right,
we are a spicy sports talk podcast.
Yes, Frank occasionally curses and uses the F word, so we are a spicy sports podcast.
Yeah. You know what it is? I speak New Jersey.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's probably a fair. It's probably a fair statement to make.
The F word is actually the most multi-use word in the English language.
Yeah, of course. I just if there's any kids watching, any impressionable adults, young adults, I want to make sure that they're not listening to your foul language. So Brooklyn Nets, you don't care about them. Subject to change, but as of right now, you don't care. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Speaking of the sports world, Donda Sports. Donda Sports, down it goes. I don't know if they'll ever recover.
Well, what's great is all these people have left Donda Sports. They've seen Kanye and his crazy act, and they basically said, "I'm out of here." He went to Skechers, and Skechers went, "Begone, thy Satan! Begone, thy Satan! I command unto you."
What now for people that have been paying attention to Kanye for, I would say probably the last, 6, 7, 8 years. I mean, he's been out there for a while now.
Yes, but, he has.
But he did one of the few things you just can't do, and so now, he's off the Forbes billionaire list now. I feel sorry for him in that matter. It is funny though. He went from I guess it was the Adidas deal. That was what got him off the billionaire list. He went from having a net worth of over $1 billion to only like $400 million. I mean, I feel sorry for the guy. I mean, can you imagine only being worth $400 million?
Yeah, I think I might be getting a little battery warning on my headphones. I think that's why he keeps beeping. Hopefully my headphones don't go out during this podcast.
Yeah, I hope
That would
not.
really suck.
Yeah, that would suck. That would be terrible for everyone involved. All right, yeah. So Kanye canceled.
But you know who's sticking by Kanye, don't you?
Obviously, Kyrie Irving.
Well, I don't know if he's sticking by him yet. He hasn't made a statement yet.
I think not making a statement is the statement. Sometimes not saying anything speaks volumes.
But Antonio Brown.
Yeah, which one?
Yeah, well, Antonio Brown sent out a letter in support of Kanye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen. Those two guys are crazy, and I say that without malice. I say that with no ill will. They are legitimately two very. I think Kanye. I truly believe Kanye. I don't think he's not crazy in the sense of like schizophrenic or anything like that. Again, not a psychology guy, but I think it's difficult. He already was narcissistic in believing he's a genius and everything. It's a perfect storm. He is a successful artist. He made great music that a lot of people enjoyed, and so that just kind of loops itself into this narcissism. He was part of the Kardashian family for years. That never ends well. The men that get involved with the Kardashian family, it never ends well for them. So he got involved with that. A lot of stuff piling on. Obviously, not a defense of Kanye at all, or what he's doing. But I think
I actually still believe that the Kardashians could be a group of succubuses.
It's possible. It's very possible. But I mean, yeah, it's Kanye is literally he's crazy in that sense that I think he might be in the sense of crazy that he truly sees himself as like an eccentric artist who has to speak truth, and like everything he does is some form of expression. You know what I mean? Like in his head, he sees everything being done as something happening in this artistic world, where everything is art. But meanwhile, the other 99% of the population is just trying to go home at the end of the day after working, and that's not how they perceive that. So he's crazy. Unfortunately, they did close the Donda Academy. They told the children that, school's basically closed for the rest of the year. I don't know what those kids are
out for lunacy.
But yeah, so I don't know what the kids are going to do. I on one hand, I understand closing Donda Academy, but on the other hand, I am pro education. So I don't, I'm torn there. I'm really torn there.
Yeah, but is the education that Kanye was giving him? I don't know about that one.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Kanye was in the front of the class teaching any lectures, but but who knows? Who knows? Well, speaking of crazy people, Elon Musk purchased Twitter. I believe it's official now. It might be official tomorrow when this airs on YouTube. But yeah, Elon Musk finally. We went back and forth. He wanted to buy it. They didn't want to sell it. He pretty much forced their hand to sell it. Then he didn't want to buy it. Now I believe it's going to be official as of tomorrow. Elon Musk will own Twitter.
I wonder how many birds are going to be let out of the cage.
Yeah, that's that's what he sent out a letter today to advertisers, basically saying that he believes that good targeted advertisement can be content. If it's advertisements promoting a product that people are actually likely to want or enjoy or use, then he sees that as actual content. But if it's if they're advertising a product that the person doesn't want or would never want, then he called it spam. He's like, we're not going to be spamming anyone. But yeah, Musk buys Twitter, and he basically told the advertisers that Twitter is going to be an open forum. Twitter is going to be the town center of the internet. And so, he basically said, without inciting violence, and I believe those are words he used. He basically said, as long as it's not inciting violence, then it's going to be allowed. So Twitter, you thought Twitter was the Wild Wild West before with literal adult content. I don't know if you ever saw this. Whenever Glenny would have anybody in for his Only Stand show, they would post stuff, and if you clicked on one of those tags, that's all adult content, just right on Twitter. So it's already wild for that. Bring back Andrew Tate, bring back Donald Trump, bring back, I don't know, whoever else. Kanye was, I believe Twitter blocked him, or he went on some hiatus. He might not have been using Twitter. That might have been a personal decision, but
I don't know if Kanye didn't Kanye say he was going to buy that other one, Parler?
Yeah, Parler. Yeah, that's which now that Musk Musk addressed this in the letter to the advertisers. He thought that if he didn't buy Twitter, that basically the left and the right would split off, and they would each make their own echo chamber, and that Twitter was supposed to be, at least in theory, Twitter is supposed to stop that from happening. If everyone is still involved and allowed on Twitter, then there's no reason to split off and go create echo chambers for each other. So yeah, he addressed that, but we'll see if Twitter allows Donald Trump, if Twitter allows Andrew Tate, if Twitter, I'm trying to think of somebody on the left who on the left has been kicked off Twitter. I don't know.
I don't know if anyone has.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody has, but I just can't think of them. But anyway, if they're all allowed on Twitter, and Twitter truly is like a town center just on the internet, I don't think there's a reason for Parler or any of those other websites.
I've looked at Parler. Parler, it's almost like you see the tumbleweeds going.
You mean there's just nobody on it? I've never downloaded or looked at it.
I glanced at it, but I didn't see anything there that was worth even looking at.
Yeah, that's it can be a big shock to people who go out and make a big deal about their opinion or their voice being needing to be heard, and then when they talk, nobody cares, nobody listens. It can destroy people like that. So there we go. All right, so Twitter now owned by Elon Musk. Well, Frank, you won the Doug's Den Fantasy Card League. Trevor Lawrence's card went from $110 down to $50, and I don't know why. He didn't look terrible, but his card pretty much halved in value over this past week. You didn't have any players that did too bad. You won this week, and Jerry came in second, so we're all tied. So the Doug's Den Fantasy Card League, we're all tied up.
Well, I got the Lawrence variant that also took a hit, but
yeah, I think the variations don't
no
to the same degree, but still, I don't know. Sam Ellinger's card went from I think $1 or $5 up to $60.
Oh my God!
I don't get that. I don't think the Colts are making the right decision. I don't think Sam Ellinger is gonna do anything. Wasn't it? No, never mind. It was the Packers. I was gonna say it was either last year or the year before. There was some rumors going around that Aaron Rodgers was not going to re-sign with the Packers, and so everybody started buying Jordan Love cards, and the Jordan Love cards shot up in price. I think this is a great time to sell Sam Ellinger, especially if you don't think he's going to do well.
Oh yeah.
Now everyone is purchased into him, thinking, "Oh, hey, he's good. He could be the next, rookie." Now, listen, he could go out there and show us all up, but to go from like a $5 card up to a $60 card just because he's going to be playing, that sounds silly.
I know it. I know the Colts are making Matt Ryan the fall guy, but we got to look around. Their offensive line has not played well.
Yeah.
Their kicking game has been a disaster, and Jonathan Taylor has completely vanished.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said this before the season started. I don't know if I did it on video or not. I feel like it's always a bad move to pick up last year's number one running back the following season. When everyone was doing their fantasy drafts, maybe that's why, maybe I did it on a cameo, but when everybody was doing their fantasy draft and everyone's talking about Jonathan Taylor, I'm like, I don't know how often that works out for the best, picking last year's running back.
Not in the last 20 years, at least.
Yeah. So, yeah. Matt Ryan out as the starting quarterback. We'll see what Sam Ehlinger does. But, the Doug's Den Card Fantasy League is it's all tied up. All tied up. Speaking of that, you want to get in your picks?
Yeah. Let's go with the picks.
All right.
I'm gonna go start with my college picks, and
okay.
Notre Dame stinks.
I'm Frank. I'm glad you addressed that. I respect your honesty and your upfrontness.
I didn't expect great things from this year. They've actually been worse than I've expected. I expected this to be like a year where they go 8-4. This year, they might actually, looking at the rest of their schedule, they might be lucky to go 6-6. They've had a few good games, but this weekend they're going into Syracuse, into the Carrier Dome. Syracuse almost beat Clemson last week.
Yeah.
Syracuse has played well all season. Carrier Dome, when the Orange are playing well, it's a very loud environment, very bad environment. The Irish offense is a mess. Tommy Rees, Marcus Freeman, these are coaches who may not be around very long. I mean, I don't know if Freeman, this is his first year as coach. They might give him a second chance. They might let him change some assistants. If they don't play well next year, he's going to be gone. And this is essentially a lost season for the Irish. Orange are 2.5-point favorites. I think that's an easy one to pick. I think the Orange are going to beat the Irish.
Yeah, by 2.5. Well, I'm glad you said that. I mean, I think your expectations may be a little skewed if you thought it was going to be a good season, but then go 8-4. I mean, Frank, 8-4 is a great season.
Yeah, but we're talking a team that the last few years before this were 10-2, 10-2, like 10-2, 11-1
with Brian Kelly.
Yes.
I don't know if that rolls over just by saying we were
but
with a different coach.
But 8-4 for Notre Dame is a poor season. All
right, fair enough. All right, so Syracuse, first pick, Syracuse minus 2.5.
Second pick, I'm gonna go with the team I think is starting to look like the number one team in the nation, and that is the Buckeyes, Ohio State. This is a test for them. They're playing another good quality opponent in Penn State. I don't believe in Penn State. I know.
Really?
I think Penn State's a good team, but when they go up against Ohio State and Michigan, they always get exposed. And Ohio State's actually a 15.5-point favorite playing at home. I think they're gonna make a statement against the Nittany Lions, and they're gonna basically grab the Nittany Lions by the tail and whip them around and just throw them down the field.
All right.
You know what? Like the bad boy, they got a little kitty cat, and they like playing with it, spinning it by its tail. That's what they're going to be doing to the the Penn State Nittany Lions.
It's a lot of points, Frank.
Sticking with the Big Ten for my next pick.
Okay.
It's the Battle of Michigan. And Michigan State sucks this year. They suck. They might even lose to Rutgers. That's how much they suck.
That'd be nice. Rutgers is on the cusp of being bowl eligible.
Yep. I am going to take Michigan minus 23. And they're going to take pleasure doing it. Just pummeling Michigan State as much as they can. And this is going to be a game where Michigan is just going to just embarrass Michigan State. And yes, you talk about the last week when I took Notre Dame and they didn't end up covering against Nevada. Mm-hmm. Yeah, UNLV. This is Michigan. This is Jim Harbaugh. And any chance they get a chance to embarrass and humiliate Michigan State, they will do it. And they will do it, and they will do it big.
Yeah, I remember telling you. I remember we talked about that when you picked Notre Dame. What was Notre Dame minus like 24, 29?
Yeah.
And I think I called it. They're nice Catholics. They get up so many points, and they don't want to pile on. Hey, listen, we beat you fair and square. No reason to to insult you. And but I don't. Yeah, I think you're probably right that Jim Harbaugh is not that kind of guy.
Okay, now sound the alarm bells. We got an upset alert that will be on Saturday.
Oh, really?
The Big 12 always cannibalizes itself. When one team starts to rise in the Big 12, they always shit the bed. TCU has been undefeated. They're rising in the rankings. And now they're going on the road and playing a West Virginia team that has not been that great this year. Every year this happens in the Big 12, where one of those teams having a bad season gets a home game and spoils any chance a Big 12 team has to go to the playoffs. And West Virginia is a 7.5-point underdog. I'm taking West Virginia plus 7.5 against TCU.
There you go. Hey, I'm big West Virginia guy. I love West Virginia.
And I'm going to the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. The number is surprisingly low.
Yeah.
56.5. I'm taking 56.5 in Jacksonville. I think the over. Yes, Georgia's just going to go up and down the field on the Gators. I think Georgia themselves is going to get near 40 points. Yeah. I think Florida, they'll get around 20 points. There's your over.
I mean, that's fair. I think Georgia's defense is going to kill them. So we'll see. Maybe Florida makes Georgia is going to have to allow Florida to score something in that game.
The over will hit by the end of the third quarter.
All right, there you go. That's pretty strong, Frank. The over is going to hit by the third quarter.
Yes.
In the third quarter.
Yes.
Before the fourth quarter starts, the over will have already hit.
Yes.
That's nice. That's worry-free football when the over is already hit. You don't have to worry about the fourth quarter at all.
I just love the over in that game. Yes. Georgia's going to put up a lot of points. I think they're going to win the game by about 2, maybe 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I think we're looking at a game that's probably going to be like 41-20 at least.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't hate that at all. I tell you what, I almost picked West Virginia. I didn't know if you were going to pick it or not, but I almost did. But let's go ahead and start it out. Frank, you were honest that Notre Dame sucks. Can I be honest with you? Can this be an honest episode?
Yeah.
FSU is not great. I said it. I can't lie. I have to be honest. FSU is not great. They're pretty good, but they're not great. A great team would easily cover 24 points against Georgia Tech, especially this Georgia Tech. I don't think they will, though. I think they'll win by 23, and I don't want another push. I'm going to take Georgia Tech plus 24. I think
That
FSU.
is a lot of points.
I think FSU wins the game. I'm not going to be upset if they win, obviously, but 24 points, even against Georgia Tech, it's a bad team. Georgia Tech is not good at all. Not good. But the way FSU has played the last 3 weeks, it's not a good sign. So I'm taking Georgia Tech plus 24. And here's the beauty of that. If FSU covers, I'm not going to be upset. It'll be a loss on my unit title belt, but if FSU can humble Georgia Tech, I'll be okay with that. All right, second pick here, Oklahoma State plus 1.5 versus Kansas State. Kansas State hurt me bad when they played TCU. I thought for sure they were going to cover there. They did not. I'm taking OK State plus 1.5. We go down to Tennessee. Tennessee is going to be wearing their all black uniforms. Have you seen those?
Yes.
Those are nice. Tennessee's doing great. They've had a great. I'm usually pretty traditionalist when it comes to the uniforms. Like, hey, give me a home, give me away, maybe one alternate. The smoke gray ones they had, these all blacks, they look nice. Tennessee minus 12.5 versus Kentucky. Ole Miss minus 2 versus Texas A&M. Did you hear Jimbo Fisher try and spin zone how his team losing is great for recruiting? Did you hear that?
Jimbo Fisher might be doing this in about a year. Can I come back to Tallahassee?
They might let him back in. They may say, sure, why not? Here's the thing, though. Jimbo Fisher is guaranteed money. And this has got to be – I got to talk to my guy Dan Lust, the sports attorney. We're going to be talking in a little while, probably when Deshaun Watson starts playing again, about guaranteed money contracts. I don't know. How did Texas A&M – I think they're paying him $85 million over 10 years, guaranteed. If Texas A&M says bye-bye to Jimbo Fisher, obviously you want to work. I mean, he's a head coach. He's won a national title as head coach. He obviously wants to coach. But if Texas A&M fires him, I mean, like that, we talk about it all the time. Coach O at LSU, they brought him into the office and they said, hey, we got to let you go, which is disappointing. But we will be paying you like your $18.5 million. And Coach O, he said his response was, when do you need me out of here by? I'll pack up my office right now. You're going to pay me $18 million? You're going to pay me $18 million not to coach? So Jimbo Fisher basically said his team losing means that when they go out and recruit players, if they recruit good players, they're going to be able to tell them, like, hey, you're a great player. You can start playing automatically rather than waiting, in line, which is it's true. But if that's you can't spin zone that. So Texas A&M, I hope Jimbo and his tacky Texas A&M boots get fired. I'm taking Ole Miss minus 2, going with Lane Kiffin there. And then for the over, I'm not taking an over. I'm taking an under. And it's a team that I should have been taking the under all year on. Northwestern Iowa, under 37.5. When the under was like 33 against Rutgers or 34, I took the over. I said, you know what? I want the points. Give me the points. Northwestern is garbage. Iowa has a great defense. I'm taking the under here.
I almost took that one myself.
Northwestern Iowa, under 37.5. I don't usually pick unders. I don't like unders. I want to root for points. But just looking at these two teams, I couldn't find anything in me that said the over was remotely possible. So I'm taking Northwestern Iowa under 37.5. All right, to the NFL.
All right. Well, the Dolphins, they won by the skin of their teeth on Sunday night. They didn't cover, but they won. They're road favorites this week in Detroit. And the Lions haven't played well lately. Game makes me a little nervous that the Lions could wake up. But I'm going to take the Dolphins minus 3.5.
That's fair.
Now, here's a spread I don't understand. Did anyone watch Monday night and the Patriots were a dumpster fire? Meanwhile, the Jets are red hot. They've won like 4 in a row. And they're 2.5-point underdogs at home. And the Patriots are, I don't understand it, are spellbound by Mac Jones, who I think is terrible. I think Mac Jones is one of the 5 worst quarterbacks in the NFL. Wow. I look at Bailey Zappi. I see someone that there's actually zip on his passes. Mac Jones just floats the fucking ball. I'm taking the Jets minus 2.5, plus 2.5.
All right, so you said Jets plus 2.5.
Plus 2.5.
Yeah.
I think that line's backwards.
I believe they might call that a rat line. I haven't fully understood what a rat line is, but my understanding, or what I believe to be my understanding, that might be a rat line.
The next one I'm taking is the Titans. They're only a 2.5-point favorite over the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't see. I think that's an easy one. Titans 2.5 over the Texans. Texans are garbage. Titans, some weeks look like they could actually be somewhat decent. The only team in that division that might finish with a winning record. I mean, I'm going to take the Titans minus 2.5, and then I'm going to go. What a matchup for Monday night game on Halloween. The Bengals and the Browns. A lot of orange there. And, you kind of look at the Bengals helmet, the Browns helmet. It kind of looks like a pumpkin. I think the Bengals are actually going to carve their initials and to carve out the helmets. I think the Bengals minus 3.5 on the road in Cleveland. I think that's going to be a good win for the Bengals. Joe Burrow had his best game of the season last week. And the Browns, right? The Browns are settling in. They know that they need Deshaun Watson. Jacoby Brissett's not it. I think the Bengals just carve up the Browns on Monday night, the Battle of Ohio. Yeah. And for my over-under NFL, whenever the Broncos are on the field, the under. Just take the under. Russell Wilson's pissing off his teammates while they're trying to sleep on an 8-hour flight to London. Is doing squat thrust singing, "My God's an awesome God." You just know the members of the Broncos looking at Russell Wilson going up and down the aisles doing these high knee bends while they're all sleeping. You just know that there was players on that team that wish they could have opened that door mid-flight and thrown him out the door
into the Atlantic.
Yes. You just know. The Broncos are a mess. The coach, they're already talking about firing the coach. Nathaniel can't hack it. The Jaguars, they haven't been doing much lately. I mean, they just don't understand about getting into the end zone. This is the 39.5. I mean, they might have to play 2 games to get to 39.5. This is going to be a game with a field goal kicking. I think the Jaguars actually might win the game. And it'll be like a 12-9 thriller.
12-9?
Yes.
All right. As long as it's a win. As long as it's a win. And 12-9 would work out. They would cover my NFL picks. Jacksonville in London. I don't think Denver's team is going to play for Russell Wilson. I don't think they care for him. I don't think they care about him.
I think they hate him.
I'm taking Jacksonville minus 2.5. Hey, listen, this is a home game. Jaguars in London. It's a home game. I'm taking Jacksonville minus 2.5. Next pick, Atlanta minus 4.5. They are favored here, but they're playing Carolina. Carolina stinks. They beat Tampa Bay, but they stink. That was their comeback game. Like, hey, we got rid of our coach. We're going to be good now.
You do know Carolina is 2-0 in the division.
I mean, what does that matter?
Yeah, the whole division sucks.
I think Atlanta's good.
Uh-oh.
What?
Hold on. I knew this was coming. Oops, hold on.
Can you hear me?
All right.
Want to just unplug your headset? You've unplugged your microphone. You've unplugged your mic. There you go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right.
Yeah, my headset was making low battery noise the whole episode. That's why I kept hearing this beeping. Almost made it.
Almost. We're almost there. So Atlanta minus 4.5. Next, I'm going to go Chicago versus Dallas. I'm taking Chicago plus 9.5. Chicago might be good. They might be on the verge. They're working their way up there. I'm taking Chicago plus 9.5. Who knows? They might make a run here. We have some crossover here. Tennessee, Houston. I don't understand that at all. Tennessee only favored by 2.5. It just doesn't make any sense. We have our same pick there.
Yeah, I totally agree. The
no
Texans might be the worst team in the NFL.
Carolina's bad. Texans. Yeah, there's a possibility. So I'm taking Tennessee minus 2.5. And then for my over-under, you mentioned them already, New England, New York Jets. I agree. I think the Jets would be a good pick there. I'm going to take the over 40.5. All right. And those are our picks for this week, college and NFL.
I think the one I didn't get in college was, what was the number for Tennessee?
Minus 12.5. Minus 12.5 versus Kentucky. But they're wearing those all black alternative uniforms, that black and orange Halloween weekend.
Oh, it's perfect.
What are we doing here? That's going to be amazing. So those are my picks. Frank, we've talked about a lot. We talked about a lot today. There's a lot of stuff going on. You have your Devils autograph session tonight. I hope it goes well, Frank. I hope it goes well. That was Barstool Units. Frank, please take us out.
Happy Halloween, happy Halloween, happy Halloween from the unit. Happy Halloween, Halloween, happy Halloween. Click, like, subscribe. Yes, and we'll see you next week.